This is our baggage cleaning Sunday. And I shared a little bit with you earlier about this whole idea of power. And before I continue with that, I got the idea of this baggage cleaning from Brenda Davies' Seven Healing Chakras. And I combined it with something else. And I'm going to share a little bit with the something else, I should say. And this comes from, let me see if I can get to the beginning of this. Oh boy. The title of it is Feeding the Demons. And the author, I'm going to butcher this name, but I want to say Sutreme Aleone. And then I could have that all screwed up. But it's part of, and you've heard me talk about this quite a bit, it's part of this book called Buddhism in America. I don't know if you can see that there. And it's a pretty thick book. I mean, we're looking at a total of 550 pages. And this little bit I want to share with you. And the author writes, in our culture, we live in the paradigm of slaying the monster, or battling cancer, or fighting a situation. You know, we're just a violent culture. We're going to kill it. Kill the disease. Kill the demon. Get rid of the enemy. Cut it off. Sound familiar? This is the hero's journey, to slay the dragon. And when we have a problem, we think that we've got to get rid of it. So this is a really amazing shift to say, we're not going to try to get rid of the dragon. We're going to see what it needs, what it wants, what it eats, why it's coming around. We go from destroying to nurturing and come full circle into a completely different view. When we do that, we let go of duality. We're no longer trying to kill the ego or to kill ourselves. Part of this idea of baggage cleaning is to return this emotional pain, mental pain that we carry around with us. And it also occurred to me, you know, as I said earlier, this boarder in a fit of I don't know, mental disturbance, demanded his rent back. And I told him, I don't keep cash. I don't keep that kind of cash on the premises. Well, that got him upset even more. Called me all sorts of names and everything. Got to the point to where I called the police. And they came out and we negotiated. We came up with something. He's out. And I didn't think much of it. You know, I handled it properly and everything. I didn't get furious. I didn't get angry. I didn't do anything to cause the situation to accelerate or to become worse. Right? The police that's their job. They're trained to do that. I don't recall the dreams that I had, but I woke up with this thought. Everything that we do is about power. whether it is applying our power, imposing our power, or giving it away. And typically in these baggage sessions, we focus on those people who caused us pain, or essentially those people who took away our power in our eyes. In our eyes, they took it away. And because they took it away, we want it back. And we feel all this anguish and everything. And it occurred to me that we never consider about those times when we imposed ourselves upon others. It just doesn't register in our heads. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that it hit me. The idea hit me. Wow. Perhaps I caused this person mental distress, emotional distress, by simply imposing the rules on them, which again is imposing my power upon them. Power is a very insidious thing. It's invisible. We never know when we're using it. We think we don't have any, when in fact we do. When we have these baggage exercises and we go through these meditations and everything, we see the others imposing their power upon us or imposing their will upon us. And we take offense to that. Yes. Do you like it when somebody pushes you around? And, we never realize that we may be on the other end. We don't know whose baggage or whose bags we are in. Because I know I'm in somebody's baggage. I'm in somebody's baggage. Because when I get annoyed, I get intense. And then they get upset. Just ask Reverend Bacon. And it's just, I wanted to put that out there for you to consider. You are in somebody else's bag. Somebody is carrying a part of you around because they felt that you were pushy. So if something like that comes to you, now Connie's never attended one of these, so I'm going to explain how this works. This is like a meditation, only it's a silent meditation. And when we meditate, when we sit and we close our eyes and try to relax, most people will tell us, don't think. Try not to think. That's a load of crap. Because the mind, that's the purpose of the mind, is to think. So you're going to get these images. And in a typical meditation, you sit there with your eyes closed, or stand there in my case, and you allow these images to move through your mind to enter stage right and exit stage left without, or resisting the urge, I should say, to reach out and say, nope, let's change this, let's do this. Oh, I need to put this on the list. Yeah, it's a natural thing. And sometimes it's a struggle to refrain from doing that. When I started meditating, yeah, it was, oh God, this is difficult. But I sat there and I went through it anyway, because I'm reading in some of these gurus that are telling me no thoughts. In between thoughts, that's where the peace is at. But in between thoughts is nothing there. That was their goal, was nothing. Of course, I've learned other things since then. But the idea here with this exercise is when a series of thoughts comes, or come through, I should say, watch them. Focus on them. You're still the observer. And you can control how quickly it goes through. You want to slow it down. You want to have time to look at yourself, to try and remember what it was that you were thinking about. What was I doing with this? Why did I do this? And then you look at the other person and you consider, what did I do to cause them to act this way? Because you played a role in it. It may have been a very tiny role, but you played a role in it. Sometimes it's just because they were in a bad mood and they just lashed out. And it has little to do with you. However, that's not how you're going to think. You're going to assume either it's all about you or it has absolutely nothing to do with you. And both cases are wrong. And I'll give you a for instance. My brother, one of my brothers was up from Texas visiting with my mother. And he left, and then I showed up. This is when I was working, and we'd go out for breakfast in the mornings. There was a breakfast buffet in the area. We would go out for breakfast in the morning. It was our get-together time. And I get over there, and I walk in the front door, and I go to knock on the other door, the inside door there. And she answers it, and she just lets loose. She just let loose with a tirade. And I'm standing there. Now, I could do several things. One of them, I could say, I could just turn around and walk away. The other thing I could say, what did I do? I could always just stand there and patiently wait for her to get through with her tirade. That happened to be the one I chose at that time. But the thing is that who was at fault? Or maybe I shouldn't say who was at fault. Maybe I should ask, what role did I play in that situation? Does anybody have any thoughts about that?
Scapegoat.
Scapegoat? Okay. What
She
about you,
needed to
Sharon?
vent.
A what?
She needed to vent, and you were the first one that showed up.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Anybody else?
You're a good listener.
I'm a good listener. Okay.
No, I'm not a good listener. I'm a deep thinker, you know, I'm still going on things you said earlier.
Okay, and I won't interrupt your train of thought because it might get noisy.
You were the safe one.
Okay, I'm the safe one.
Yeah, that's kind of like you were the best person. You were the first person.
I just happened to be there.
Yeah, but you were probably the right person.
I mean, that's the whole thing. I just happened to be there.
Yeah.
However, my brother had just left. And what is it about siblings? We tend to resemble each other. I could say my role in that was I happened to look a little bit like my brother. Or in her rage, she didn't see me, she saw my brother. I fulfilled a part. But my real part in that was that I allowed her, as Connie would say, to vent, or as Beth would say, I was the safe one, or as Cindy said, I listened, and it was you that said that. I mean, I can't remember everything, but all of those answers, all of those responses are correct. So we do play a role. And we can, and it's how we utilize our power that makes the difference. Religion, when it's not being abused, is to teach us how to use our power. The Old Testament teaches us how to use our power to impose ourselves. Good, most of it anyway.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly. And we have great power. But we want to focus on or consider on those others imposing their power on us and the effects that it makes upon us. Because the effect that it has upon us, how we respond to that power, is exactly the way others respond to our power. And when somebody lets loose on us, we may want to just step back a little bit and consider what we may have done to incite this tirade that comes from them. Were we an active participant or a passive participant? Even in this exercise, consider when they are unloading on you or the event that you happen to see and you're focusing on, consider your role in all of this, because nobody takes our power away. Nobody takes our power away. It may seem like it, but it's still our power, and we're still in control of it. And it's how we use it, whether we give it away or we. The thing to keep in mind is choice. Choice, basic thing about choice is we either accept what's happening or we resist it. So, with that said, before we go into this, Sandy, do you have any comments or questions?
I don't know if I really do. But I, was thinking a lot about the power that you were talking about and how easily it can be abused and it's for lack of a better term, it's a powerful tool. Power is a powerful tool, I guess. And I think we probably always need to be mindful of that. Because power is seductive. For some people. And we always need to be mindful of that.
Yeah. Power is seductive. It's addictive. Some of us have a natural addiction for it. Some of us develop a taste for it. But yeah, very good. How about you, Beth? Any comments or questions?
No, I'm just already thinking. I'm like premeditating.
Premeditating. All right.
Now we know who that word came from.
I'm preparing myself, because again, this is something I've been thinking about ever since you first mentioned, oh, we're gonna have baggage clean. It's like, okay. I'm not gonna work on. I've worked with my sisters. What really bothers me? So that's all I've been thinking about. So I'm trying to relate that to this power thing. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was, like I said, I woke up with this idea in my head. And I'd never considered it from that perspective. Never. So yeah, what's the joke?
So
Please share it. We could all use a smile.
I had so many going on. The eye cannot see itself. I don't think of myself as a little person, but everybody else does. And they unload on me, and because they think I'm safe. And this goes on, it's gone on for 8 years now, so. I was in a gas station pumping gas, minding my own business, the gas going. Some person comes over, this is in Walmart, not in Walmart, it's in a big gas station. Some guy comes over and says, sir, I've run out of gas somewhere and I need some money to get home. Could you help me with that? I had a metamorphosis. I jumped all over him. I said, out of all the people in this parking lot, you came over here and jumped me. Now, why did you do that? He didn't know what to say. He left in a hurry. I took that opportunity, I guess, in a split second. I didn't even think about it, but I unloaded him. 80 years of being screwed with came to an end there. Took off again the next day, but
They look,
surprised myself.
they look for the person that they think is the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
Easy touch. I've been hit up too, yeah.
He said, this guy's nuts, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You got it. That's what you did.
I thought you were gonna say, we're gonna turn gas pump on. There's a gas. Hold on to your hand.
I'm gonna get beat up someday, because I do that, I'm picking the wrong person sometimes.
Oh, just show them that beefcake photo of yours.
What about it?
Show
Oh,
your
yeah.
beefcake photo, and see, you
Yeah,
really wanna miss
yeah,
some
nobody-
Facebook.
Yeah. Nobody thinks it's me.
Who's that?
Oh. You have to show it to her.
All right, we're drifting here, so. And Cindy, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think some people are leaders and some people are followers, so. Yes, some people only think about power and the other just are followers.
And how about you, Sharon? Any thoughts or comments?
I think so. I'm just kind of trying to think about what I'm gonna,
Don't worry,
what I need help with.
it'll come,
It
it'll
will,
show up,
it will show up.
it'll
for
show
sure.
up, just like it did the other times, it'll show up. So, what are your thoughts, Connie?
I kind of had a premeditation, visitation, whatever the hell you want to call it already too. In the form of a dream. Friday night, woke up yesterday morning just mad as hell. I actually woke myself up talking because I was still bitching from my dream when I woke up. There
What
was a
did I
bunch
do?
of people. It wasn't you, it was family members of mine that I don't know on my mother's side were all in my room and wouldn't leave. And I started out nice, asking them to get out of my room because it was my space. They wouldn't. And then I started loudly using F words to get them out, and they still wouldn't go. Then when I finally got them out, one of them came back in and decided I needed to be prayed for. And that just set me right over the edge. And that's when I woke up still cussing and yelling. So yeah, that was my morning yesterday. So I think that has something to do with today, I'm sure.
Okay. So do
Because
you
it was
understand the process? I'm sorry.
I think so. I think that was demonstration of my lack of power and not liking it. But we'll see.
Okay. So, and you understand the process, right? The idea is not to, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
The idea is not to stop thinking, but to allow these memories to move through the mind. And you're in control of these memories. You can select one and you can focus on it. And as you focus on it, you want to focus on yourself. Ask yourself questions. I do sometimes. And you want to focus on the other person. The idea is to try and understand what happened. Because when you understand, even if you think you understand, when you understand what took place, you're able to release it. And that's the idea, is to release it. Because when you release it, then when you encounter a similar situation, because you will, we all encounter the same thing over and over and over again. This was not the first time I had a boarder demand their money back. For whatever reason, it was not the first time. And if I continue with this, it won't be the last time. But the behavior that you apply, the pattern that you pull upon, the power that you apply may be different when it comes around this next time. And that's the idea. With understanding, you gain recognition. And with recognition, you know how to deal with it. You know that you don't jump first. You know that you wait and you let them jump, and you just kind of stand off to the side and you let them jump past you and then back up. And then you become an active participant. So that's the idea, why we're doing this. It helps us to understand those events in our past that cause us pain that we hold on to. So when we encounter these events again, we're not going to hold on to that pain, because we'll have some understanding of its origin, of why it's there. So are we ready? Okay, this is just going to be a silent meditation.
What are we meditating about?
Oh, you're going to allow an event to come up that's disturbing or troublesome. You know, the idea is baggage. We all have this baggage that we carry with us. And in order for us to let go of these things in the past, you are already pretty good at letting that stuff go. So you may not have something, or something may come up that's very old, very far in the past. But that's the idea, is to understand it. And I was prompted to read this to you. In the practice, we feed them to complete satisfaction, meaning the dragon, the demons, this baggage. We feed them to complete satisfaction, which is different than giving the little kid a cookie or throwing the dog a bone. By feeding them to complete satisfaction, it's actually turning around and saying, what is it that you need? These images, these situations that haunt us, these people, they want something. There's something that they need. What is it that you really want? And paying full, complete attention to it. That's probably the first time that you've ever done that. You can have a life-threatening disease and never actually look it in the face. It's always this thing that I'm trying to get away from, trying to eliminate. Sound familiar? Yes, it's so there, obviously, but we don't want to look it in the face. And this particular practice, feeding the demon, has shown to help those who are experiencing AIDS and cancer. In some cases, it's caused the demon to recede to the point to where they regain their health. In other instances, it's helped them in their general well-being. So, yeah, you can think of it as you're feeding this. Okay, what is it that you want? You want to approach it from this position? You see yourself there, crying, suffering, whatever. You ask yourself, what is it that you need? And you will answer yourself. Or at least I did when I asked myself that question. And it will tell you what it needs. And then you give it what it needs. Because in giving it what it needs, until it's satisfied, you gain an understanding. It comes back to this whole idea of understanding. What is it about fear that makes it so terrible? It's not knowing. And when you know, the fear is gone. So it doesn't make a difference what approach that you use, or if you come up with your own approach. As long as you understand, you gain an understanding of your role in what happened. Even if you don't have to worry about understanding the other person's role, just understanding your role, what you did, how you reacted, why you reacted. If you've got that pain, you can give it back to them. You can tell them, I no longer need this anymore. It's yours. So it doesn't make a difference what approach you use. Because any of them, as long as you gain that understanding, any approach you use will be beneficial. But I'm only going to use the one. So, with that, make yourselves comfortable.